For today, if you're expecting something like about theory or academic, it's not going to be like this. Today's going to be just some examples, and I'll try to inspire you, with our story and the things we do at BBVA, and the way we approach and we embrace this new digital world, which is not new anymore. So a lot of examples, and of course, if you feel like catching up later, if you want to start a conversation on Twitter or LinkedIn, just feel free, and I'm more than happy to discuss any further ideas. Any ideas of what this is? What this graphic represents? No? No? No guesses? Okay. We'll find out later. I'll tell you about this graph and what it means and how it applies to our reality every day. But first of all, let's start with what digitalization really means and how it applies to our reality every day. Digitalization and the digital world is not this. It is not about gadgets. It's not about technology. It is not about computers or laptops or mobile phones. Of course, those are tools to help us to embrace the new digital area, but it is not about technology. It is really about changing the mindset. It is really about changing the way you perceive reality, the way you relate to others, the way you work, the way you share information. It's just living in a different way, and that could be a challenge sometimes. Many times, actually. And it could be scary, it could be difficult, but I think we have a very beautiful challenges in front of us for all of us who work within communications or HR, and we're just doing step by step this new way of working and this new way of understanding reality. For us, this is a challenge because how many of you don't know BBVA, or maybe how many of you are from outside of Spain? Could you just raise your hands up? Okay, all right. So BBVA, it is a global bank with Spanish roots. We are present in over 35 countries. We've got over 55 million clients. So as you can see, pretty big business and very traditional environment and discipline. So this is our challenge. Our challenge is we've got this traditional organization, and what do we want? We want to become the best digital bank in the world. So I know this is a big statement, but this is our president who has a vision, and I think most of us already share that vision. Actually, one of my colleagues is sitting around here, so he could tell you more about this story and the vision we've got. But we really believe we can change banking, and we can create a digital bank that really drives opportunities for everyone in this new digital area. What's the challenge? The challenge is business is traditional, banking is traditional, so we have to change everything right from the inside of the organization. Not just with campaigns outside, which of course we do, not with advertising, but also changing from the inside of the organization. Some of those changes are, for example, the spaces. We've got new premises all over the world. We've transformed our offices, and we've got different offices now with different kind of working methods in various regions. We've got a new office in Madrid with a capacity for 7,000 people, which is pretty big. We've got a new office as well in Mexico. We've got one in Chile. So we knew that if we wanted to work in a different way, we had to change the spaces where we all work. How did we do that? We created a city. This is Ciudad BBVA, BBVA City, and it has capacity, as I said, for 7,000 people. And we've made a very living area, a very living city, business city, with many restaurants and platforms to connect buildings, and places to sit around at the outside when the sun is shining. So it is a pretty nice place where to work. And on the inside, we've got that kind of, furniture and colors, which normally you wouldn't really relate to a banking industry. That was pretty disruptive at the beginning. People, they didn't want to use them, so we have to sometimes overreact and to use it, like, for example, my team, to use it for meetings, so people know they can actually use it. Because for them, they would just use, my colleagues, to use just the bench and sit at the bench and work with your computer, but not to move around. So now we can work in flexible work. We can use different tables in different places of the building. You don't need to be attached to your place. So we need to change the mindset for that as well. But also, this is our bank. This is actually the innovation center of BBVA, with a football table, with bicycles, with graffiti. Why we do that? We do that because we need to inspire our colleagues. If you're working in an innovation center, but you feel like you're in a box, like gray box, with, no inspiration, no colors, no fun around it, then you won't be able to create and to inspire others. So we are creating those spaces to develop this environment of creativity, collaboration, and networking. This is also a new space in one of our offices. So if I had asked you before how you picture a person working in a bank, probably you would say, if it's a man on suit and a tie, and if it's a woman, probably with, big heels and a jacket and, that kind of executives. That is true. We've got some people dressing in different and various styles, but then we've got some other people that start to go to the office using a bicycle. So we've got a parking for bikes, which is, again, is disruptive in the way we understand how we relate with the business and the kind of people who are already related to the organization. It's not only about the spaces, of course, it is also about methodologies. And we are starting now to apply scrums and agile methodologies to different and various disciplines within the organization. So not only the developers and the user designers, etc., not only them are using that kind of methodologies, but for example, sometimes we do in different projects in HR or communications. And this is, again, a challenge. Because when people are used to work just within the function they do every day, they are used to do what they know, just relate to their colleagues, and pretty much that's it. This is a challenge because now we are creating multidisciplinary teams that they work together. They don't belong to the same team, but they have to coordinate. They have to work in the scrums, and they have to use agile methodology. So we had to test this before, and we have to explain people how this is work and why is it good for your business, for your project. So that also takes some time. But I think it's very important that everyone embrace this reality. As you can see, we are running that kind of workshops, and I love this photo because you can see the contradiction, like the background is one of an old offices that it was replaced with a new one I just showed you, but you can see they are working on the Scrum and Agile methodologies. So, it was a process. That would happen just all of a sudden. You won't just wake up one day and decide you want to have a digital organization, and it won't happen like this. It will be a process. And it is fine to have that kind of contradictions. It happens sometimes, but you have just to walk the way, right? This is also something very important, and I'll tell you the story about this. This is one of our offices in the US. So as you can see, there are some benches, and people sat around the table. And if you look at the photo, you couldn't really tell who's the CEO, who is the leading manager, and who is the intern. You couldn't tell. They all sat at the same table. They all dressed the same. They all used the same chairs and the same computers, because we realized that if we wanted to be more horizontal, and we wanted to be more democratic within the organization, we needed to change that kind of hierarchical distinctions. So now there are no private offices. The bosses, the managers, they sit on a bench like anybody else. Actually, our CEO, a CEO of a company of 150,000 employees, which is pretty big, he sits on a bench like anybody else, and he moves around. Sometimes you're just working on your desk, and he just come and say, how are you doing with this? Have we got any progress? You're just working, and at the beginning it was like, oh my God, how can I do now? Is the CEO talking to me? That kind of things, are changing, and we're getting used to have that direct contact that before it doesn't exist. That kind of things just happen because you change the way you approach the business and the way you approach your offices and the way of working. We've got a no-ties policy since, I think, a year and a half. That doesn't mean that men can wear ties. Of course, if you work at BBVA, if you want to wear that, that's fine. But it's not an obligation. You're not obliged to, dress in suit and tie every single day. You just do it if you want to do it. And we realized that that was very important because you need to feel comfortable with yourself if you want to have a high performance level. That's, many studies reveal this, and we realize as well that the more the people feel comfortable, the better they perform. So it is actually very good for all of us to feel comfortable when we work. We do flexible work as well. So we work with Google and all the tools of Google, so Google Drive, Google Chat, Google Calendars, whatever. That means that we can work from everywhere in the world. If you've got access to the internet, you can connect your files, you can connect to your friends, to your colleagues, to your boss, and you can work with them wherever you are. So that's very flexible, and that's really good. What's the challenge? The challenge in terms of current employees and in terms of talent acquisition are related but are different. Inside the organization, as I said, we had to change the mindset because people, they were not ready for this digital transformation. So we organized a big event called Live at BBVA. It was produced as a way of a television program. So we had 6 connections, I think, from around the globe, more than 4,000 views. Our CEO was in Mexico, connecting from Mexico. The president was delivering his presentation from Madrid. We had people in Turkey, we had people in Chile. So we had this big event where people could actually participate. We created an application, a mobile application, to do live polling. So we were asking questions to the audience, a global audience of 150,000 employees, and they could be able to give their opinion real time. And we were showing the opinion of the people on the screen real time. So that was something huge for us. I think it was the first thing that, at least I think in Spain, someone did something like this, and probably worldwide, because our size is sometimes it's scary, it's huge. And creating this live event, television kind of event, it was a challenge. So I've prepared this video, and we'll have a look at it. So this is our president from Madrid.
Good morning, America. Good afternoon, Europe, and good night, Asia.
Live connections, like TV program style. Very good graphics. We invested a lot on design and graphics to make it real, to show the people that the digital world is already part of BBVA. We also released the new application in front of all of the employees. So that helped us to drive transparency. So they were the first one to see the new application for BBVA, the new mobile application. And these are all the employees that watched together the event, because we knew it was important to watch it together. So this is just a short clip just for you to understand what kind of things can help you to deliver the message and to drive innovation and digitalization. Sometimes we also do other kinds of events, like, for example, Grab Your Coffee. We've got this pretty amazing and, with resources and budget, live at BBVA event, but we also do things very, very easy, like Grab Your Coffee. We just get people from the organization to talk about something that they matter, something they really care about. So we just sit together on Thursday afternoon, we grab a coffee after lunch, and we just discuss some topics. It's very informal, we just discuss some ideas, and that helps to feel people, they can speak out and they can discuss different ideas. This is a BBVA Creation Center in Dallas, so we've created a center just to create and develop mobile applications, software, etc. So we've got a specific place for these people to create and to do their job. But the challenge is talent acquisition, and I know this is something that maybe worries you, because it's not easy to, get people to work within your company when they belong to a different and completely world, and they are very digital, they are designers or programmers, coders, whatever. So we now need to take a very proactive approach. We need digital experts. We don't need financial experts anymore. We need them, but we have to change our focus because our business is changing as well, as you all know. And what we have to do is be proactive. We have to work not only for the post and pray approach, before we just post a job and wait until people apply, but what we do now, we launch campaigns. We do marketing campaigns to attract the people we want, to target those campaigns, so we are able to have this conversation one-to-one. Our talent objective, of course, is to be effective when we attract talent. And that's sometimes a challenge depending on the region, depending on the economic situation in every country, and the talent. If that talent is difficult to find, you might struggle. So what we did, we applied marketing to our campaigns. So we use this marketing funnel. This is nothing new, it's just a marketing funnel, but we apply it to the hiring process. So what I do, I focus on the top of the funnel. So we work the awareness, we work on the consolidation and the interest. So through events, through campaigns, through marketing, emails, programs, etc., we are creating this network, we are creating this talent community, so by the time there is an opportunity for one person, this person is already engaged with the organization. So it is easier to attract them, it is quicker, and it is cheaper. We work with talent personas because we realize that the talent we struggle to attract is not the talent we were used to work with. So we created these talent personas, which are fictitious, of course, but help us to have an idea of how these people are, where they hang out, what kind of music they like, what universities they studied at, what do they do. So that helps us to create content specific for that kind of people. That helps us to create an environment on social media and create those channels to be, in touch with them. We have a Twitter account in different regions, LinkedIn, of course, Instagram's accounts, and the corporate BBVA blog where we post as stories as well. So we've got this ecosystem which is pretty consistent. But I think it is very important to start thinking in different media, in different channels. So we are starting to explore Snapchat. We haven't launched the channel. We are now working on the editorial plan. We are thinking of Periscope, because wouldn't it be nice if we could just do a Periscope with someone from a business area, someone, for example, from the risk department, just asking them about what they do every day, how is to work at BBVA, so we could just Periscope it live and people ask questions. I think that would be very, very good for people to engage directly with the members of the organization. Of course, we are thinking of Pinterest as well. And WhatsApp, don't forget WhatsApp. WhatsApp is driving more traffic and conversations nowadays than the social platforms. So if we open a channel, like kind of customer service channel, but related to talent acquisition, we'll be able to have this conversation within the environment that the young people, which is difficult to attract, they feel more comfortable with. Of course, this is not only about social media, it's also about events, it's also about creating very good content in the blog, it's also about PPC, etc. It's just a marketing mix applied to talent acquisition. And candidate experience is something that needs to be transversal to all of this. We are creating events, inviting people to use a mobile app that we created, just asking questions about BBVA that they can ask. It is a channel, so as a channel, help us to connect to these people, and they can compete answering questions about BBVA, and then they rank. So it's pure gamification, online gamification, but then they really relate BBVA with innovation, BBVA with digitalization. So, when I asked you before what was this graphic, because my presentation is coming to an end, these are the searches of digital transformation on Google. So this trend shows us how important is digital transformation, how important it is for all of us, how worried sometimes we are about transformation and digital transformation. But I think the key is not thinking in digital transformation as a bunch of technical processes or devices or technologies of softwares. It's actually related to a different mindset, to a different way of perceiving our reality. Thank you very much.